I was like, we need to send this, Mohammed, we need to send this money right back out, right back out. It cannot come back in because it's not working for me. Okay, Pat.
Well, it's so much easier and more comfortable to say no and to talk yourself out of opportunities that maybe you're not quite sure about rather than to say yes. And we've learned also that no in our world is never a no. It's a maybe not right now.
Yeah.
But you just have to keep going. And I love that despite the one deal that went haywire, because for a lot of people, that would have been the turning point where they would have said, this is just not for me. I'm not meant to do this. This is my sign to step away. And in fact, for you, it was just your sign to keep going. And what happened afterwards made that deal completely insignificant because what you went on to do after was so much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it happened very quickly too. So interesting that you had the belief that no, this is not a sign that I should stop or slow down or quit or give up. You had the belief that you would succeed. You had a belief that the universe would provide and that everything in the supply is abundant. And I think a lot of that has to do with, and I don't know how much work you've done on self-image, but when you speak, like Tamara and I can both hear the way you talk, Rhea, you have such a very strong self-image, to have that confidence in yourself to say, I haven't done this before. It's probably quite terrifying, but I'm going to do it anyway because I believe in me, right? And that self-image, I mean, we train our clients all the time on how to improve their self-image to attain that type of confidence and to see themselves in the mirror in that way, the way that you see yourself, the way that you see yourself already as accomplishing, thinking from the end of, I haven't done it, but I know I can do it. And I'm going to move forward, even though I maybe don't have all the answers, I'm going to do it anyway, which is remarkable. And I think that's the 1%, like to have that self-image of absolute success. I see it in myself every single day, no matter what the external environment is showing me, right? I know that I am a powerhouse and I'm going to get after it, right? And I think that's extraordinary. Tamara loves the self-image.
I do, because it's so important.
Yeah.
Right? It's the essence of success. And in a world where 30% of real estate investors are women, this is going to be a huge part of other women's success. So what advice do you have for women and men who are maybe thinking of investing? They're not quite sure. They want to do it. They don't know. What advice do you have for somebody who might be interested in getting started?
Yeah. So let's talk about that image of yourself, because that's really, really important. So I've always had a very strong self-image, right? I don't suffer from, a lack of self-esteem. That in fact, I might have a little too much self-esteem. My husband sometimes says to me, wow, you think you're great. I do. Because my parents have always instilled that sort of right in me. So I've never suffered from, right, I can't do this, right? I've climbed mountains, I've run marathons, right? Like I've always pushed myself and said, well, like if you can do this, like I can do this. But that scarcity mindset though, like that sort of kind of pulled me back. Like, what if I lose money for my family? My husband's very conservative. Right. And so conservative financially as well. And so when I'm playing with our money, my fear is, what if I make a mistake and I have to explain something to him? It's different when it's just me. But what I had to do was get comfortable with failing. It's okay. You don't want to make a mistake that sinks you as an investor. Right. And so going back to the self-image thing. So the self-image, right? I think for any new investor, male or female, right, you have to get comfortable really looking inward at yourself, right? Do I have the ability to execute on these transactions? Do I have the financial wherewithal to do this number of transactions? Because what if things go a little bit sideways? Do I have the emotional intelligence to deal with things when they go sideways? Because I might have to tell a partner, hey, guess what? I'm not able to do X, Y, or Z. A lot of people don't have the emotional intelligence. And so they end up just getting angry, or they hide, or they lie, and they dig themselves in deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's, it's a problem. So it's an issue that I think every investor has to do a deep sort of inward look. They have to make sure that they have a level of confidence and a level of emotional intelligence that they can deal with things that are really, really good and really, really bad and everything in between. Mm-hmm. And then what I would say is get comfortable being uncomfortable. So I'm comfortable being, I've been uncomfortable a lot in my life. And I think it's like a muscle. Right? I've been on the side of a mountain with a whole bunch of guys on a rope, right? Thinking I'm terrified. Like if we start sliding down Mount Rainier, I'm going to have to self-rescue or group rescue by, sticking in your ice axe and like holding the rest of the team. Or running a marathon, you're at mile 22, right? I'm in Hawaii with my brother and I'm like, I can't stop right now, even though my whole body is screaming stop because I want to get to the finish line with my brother. Or this is terrifying. I'm going to do a $500,000 EMD deal. And what if something goes wrong? Well, what if it goes right? So like playing that game, playing it all through in your head, and then knowing that like you're going to have butterflies in your tummy. It's going to feel a little uncomfortable. You're going to map everything out and then you're going to do it. You're going to take the action. And if you aren't entirely comfortable doing it on your own, hold hands with somebody that can walk you through it. Right? Go and find a partner and say, I'm a little scared to do this, but I know you've done this before. Can we do it together? Right?
Yeah, it's huge.
Or do it alone and just know you're going to have sleepless nights. You're going to be terrified and walk through it anyways.
Yeah. And failure is part of the process. You can't have big success without having some glitches along the way. There's a really hilarious Brian Tracy quote that said, you're constantly navigating from problem to problem. And if you're not having a problem, it's because you're having a crisis. So it becomes about being able to navigate and pivot and problem solve as you go. That's part of the process.
Yeah. The problem solving, I love. So, right. Our job as real estate investors is to problem solve. We're problem solving for ourselves, for the seller who's selling us their asset, no matter what it is. It could be single family, it could be multifamily, it could be mobile homes, it could be land. But you're going to be problem solving through the entire transaction. Like if it's smooth as silk, and yes, there are moments where it's just, if you're an operator, it's not going to be smooth all the time, right? They're going to be, but that's why
smooth ever.
It's not smooth ever.
But that's why we get paid to solve problems. Yep. So every once in a while, right, I'll be complaining. Got to learn how to stop complaining also to my husband about, and he'll say, that's why you get paid the big bucks. And I'm like, you're right. That's why I get paid what I get paid, because I have to go through, navigate, and problem solve things that other people are not willing to navigate through or problem solve. That's why they won't make that money. And then I'm reminded, this is why I'm making what I make. Same thing with selling our business. There wasn't another husband and wife team that was willing to put $1.4 million on the line to build a company all the way into their 50s and go, I don't know, are we going to sell this for a multiple of EBITDA? I don't know. Wow. Right? Are we going to be able to do this? You have to take a certain amount of risk, and you have ups and you have downs in your problem solving. That's why you get paid what you get paid.
Mm-hmm. The bigger the problems that you can solve, the more money you'll make, because the more valuable you become.